Anyway, I'm going to get right into it. What we're doing here today is we're going to go ahead and do a tryout number 3. We're going to have Tony Taylor come in here. He has some paranormal experience. He's coming in here for a tryout also to try to see if he can become the one of the co-hosts for ESP podcast. And we're going to let him come in here, and I'm going to introduce you to him. We're going to see what all he has and has in store, or what he has to offer. And let's bring him in and see what happens. So I'm going to bring in Tony Taylor. We're going to let him tell us a little bit about what he does, where he fits into all this, and should be a good one. And let's bring Tony Taylor in here. Here we go. Oh, one more note. I do want to mention on this podcast, there is going to be a gift card. There's a $25 gift card. It's right here in front of me. So y'all know the drill, guys. For those of y'all who are not followers or who have not, friended us, Slap Recon, on Facebook, I ask that you please do so. And anybody who has friended us on Facebook for Slap Recon, you're eligible to get your name on the wheel for a chance at that $25 gift card. What happens, guys, we have a wheel, and it'll hold up to 100 names on there. And everybody who puts down in the comments, all you got to do is put in the comments that the name of the card, and just tell me that you saw. That tells me you saw the card, and just remember to put in the comments down there that what kind of card it was and that you saw it. That tells me you saw it, and then your name will go on the wheel tomorrow, and then I'll spin it, and whoever name it stops on, you're gonna get that $25 gift card. I will have to mail it to you though, so because I know a lot of y'all are from up north, New York, and where not. And I don't think I can go that far. So we're going to go ahead and bring Tony in here. And, one other thing. Don't forget shirts, guys. Here are the shirts. This is what they look like when you're wearing them. They don't come with the red sleeves, but that's how they look. And better view. I still have some up here. Right there. Where that? Right here. I still have some up there. Got some more down here. And that's probably all I'm going to have right there for now on this bunch. So we need to push these out if we can. Remember, I'm using Zelle, and all you got to do is message us on this on Slap Recon's Facebook, and then we'll go ahead and I'll send you the information on how to obtain one. And they're going for $25. So, all right, let's bring Tony Taylor in here and let's see what he has to offer, and let's hear a couple of his stories. I'm kind of ready to do that. So here we go with Tony. Tony Taylor.
Good evening.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Slap, how's it going? I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Yeah, we're doing good on this side. I had something a little hold up a little bit. I had to take care of something. I had a little weird situation on the household side over here, but a neighbor started. No. The neighbor kid next door decided to put his boombox or whatever outside, and he's over there blaring in full blast, and that contaminates the mic. So. I mean, at the last minute, I had to run over there and tell him, you got to roll over there, buddy. I mean, I can't, He was cool about it. He's not like that. He just okay. So I told him, give me about an hour. You can crank it back up. It don't bother me at all. So he's a youngster having fun. But anyway, Tony Taylor. This is Tony Taylor, guys. He's interested in becoming a co-host. He also he's had some personal paranormal experiences. Now, Tony, I'm going to get right into it and let's just ask you right off the bat. You're familiar with the paranormal, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. What else are you familiar with in that realm?
I'm really interested in cryptids and such. I've done research on it. I watched some podcasts on it as well. Studied the folklore, such as when you talk about cryptids, these are like things that like Bigfoot, the swamp ape, Loch Ness monster, things of that sort. Things that are people have claimed they've seen, but there's really no proof. There's no scientific proof that these entities exist.
Okay, so I never, believe it or not, I've never really heard the word cryptid, and or if I did, I was kind of like not. I mean, I'm thinking Tales of the Crypt. I mean, number one, right. That was the first thing when you had mentioned that on in the message that you sent me. That's what I was thinking. But so, are UFOs involved in that? You said, or no?
Strangely enough, there has been more thought recently that everybody, you've seen the videos of Bigfoot, right?
Yes.
So there's been, they're always blurry. There seems like there's a lot of tales of the Bigfoot roaming about the forest or in going across the field or whatever. When they try to take a picture, it's blurry. It's now highly thought that this could also be because they are either interdimensional or they're extraterrestrial, and so they have some sort of cloaking device maybe that keeps people from being able to take pictures from them. I've seen several stories where people explained you've seen like a predator where there's the predator and it comes across and you can see it looks like a mirage. There's this floating like you have the mirage when there's a hot pavement. And
Yeah.
so you see a form there, but you see right through it. And so they're starting to think that Bigfoot itself is has cloaking devices and is not just some big missing link, woolly mammal, hairy man, things of that sort.
So, do you believe maybe he was placed here, or do you think he was already here, or
Personally,
one of
myself,
them? Because I know that there's Bigfoot, there's Yetis. There, I mean, I believe I don't know. There's different ones, right? I mean, from what I understand.
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
there's your standard Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Those are usually northwest. There's the swamp ape, which is down in Florida. They've actually seen tales of Bigfoot. It's quite smaller, as you would imagine. Before Florida has some forest and such, but because of the terrain, just like your animals are going to be bigger in the mountains, like let's say, for example, like an elk or a deer, they're going to be larger where there's more room for them to roam and to grow larger. But if they were like, for example, like on the edge of a city, where there's still little rural patches, kind of like in my area, there's deer, but they're smaller because their food supply isn't as much, so they don't grow as big. So I guess kind of sidetracking. So the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and such are thought to be all of the kind of same species, just like you have different breeds of dogs. And so that's just kind of the idea just on that itself. So going back to your question, personally myself, I think it's more that I think they're interdimensional beings. I think because they've seen where they're walking and all of a sudden they disappear. Either they're going into some sort of spacecraft or into a cave or something of the sort where they're disappearing to and people have tried to track them down, or they're going into a portal.
Okay. You know, you're a military guy, right?
Yes.
Do you think maybe they just have a setup, a camouflage setup, or like that they can just go into and it pops into a cave, maybe, or something? I don't know, something like that. Because
Oh, definitely.
because it's kind of. I mean, when you say that they could be like, I'm not saying be like Predator, but have some kind of a cloaking device or something, that would be, man, that would be kind of like more extraterrestrial or something, because I wouldn't know how they would, that's why I said, do you think they were already here, or you think they were placed here? Because some people have said that they think that they were brought here by the aliens, correct?
Yes, or that they themselves are aliens. Imagine, like, look at Chewbacca on Star Wars. He looks like a big Yeti, like a big Bigfoot. Um, but so yeah, I guess there's two different ways of thinking about it. Like I was saying, they're either extraterrestrial coming from another planet, or they're interdimensional, meaning that there are things on this planet that we just can't see. We talk about the third dimension, the fourth dimension being time. There's also the fifth dimension. When you start getting into it, there's warping of space, because we know with gravity, Einstein's theory, where gravity can warp space, and it's, I know it's like kind of another subject, probably for another day, but it opens up fabrics of time, not to be cliche, and allows you to travel from one place to another or to exist without being seen.
All right, so that's that's part of the cryptid deal. Now, what else
Correct.
is cryptid? What else would be there?
Um,
Because you mentioned Sasquatch and Bigfoot, so we know that already.
Well, the Skinwalkers. That's a big one. The Skinwalker Ranch out in Utah.
Yeah.
They're shapeshifters. They take the shape of animals, of people. They mimic voices. There's been several I've seen videos on YouTube, and these are like not doctored. These are real life things where something's happening. There's a the person's dog goes missing, and all of a sudden the dog shows up, but it looks like the dog, and the spots are the same, but the dog is not behaving like that. And it's not like they have rabies. They're actually like being either mimicked or taken over by some other being, spirit. Don't really know.
Yeah, so they're
So
possessed or
that's
something,
yeah. So this
basically.
the yeah, Skinwalkers is one. Chupacabra. I'm sure you've heard about that one.
Yeah, well,
Those
when you
are
said dog, that was the first thing that popped in my head. The chupacabra.
right, and those are, and the other thing that's really interesting is that gives a lot of these things more credit. Is one, these entities, these cryptids, have been talked about in ancient culture way before man came. Way back in when the Native Americans were here, on this land, and even other places as well, overseas. For example, the Yetis over in like Nepal, Himalayas, the Himalayan, the
Russia.
Himalayan monster.
I
Yeah,
think I've
yeah,
heard them in Russia
exactly.
too.
Yeah, all that area, like all of Eastern Asia, and so these are things that back in that time, the word of mouth from these and the way that these people described these beings all match up. They're all the same. They've all seen the same thing, and there's no way. It's not like they had internet where they could say, "Hey, I saw this," and someone's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that too." It's like there's actually a lot of credibility to that, and the description of it, and their actions. The way that they explain some of the cloaking sometimes, like for example on the Bigfoot.
On the paranormal side, now let's step a little bit on that. So
Yes,
you have a strong belief in the paranormal,
yes,
or
absolutely.
or a curiosity? Is it more of a
Oh,
belief or a curiosity?
both. Well, because I believe that there's actually something to it. What exactly it is, I don't know. Just a little bit about me. I grew up in a very religious household, angels and demons, things of that sort, the afterlife. But then it's like, you talk about ghosts and things happening and strange occurrences. But I mean, as of late, I've found myself to be more spiritual than just a specific religion or a specific teaching, because I've found that a lot of what I was taught expands also across different religions, where they kind of all have the same idealism. And then there's also things in religions that are not close to what I was raised in that offer a lot of explanation that I didn't have growing up with religion that I had. It was just like, just do this, do that, do that, do that. And that was all you worried about. Don't worry about anything else.
Okay,
So,
so if paranormal can be like different forms too, and different.
absolutely.
Yeah. So if okay, I got one for you. Have you ever seen a ghost? Do
Yes.
you believe? I mean, did
Oh
you
no,
have
it
an
was a ghost.
experience? Okay.
It was a very good ghost. Not a very good ghost. It was at least it was not
Casper,
Maleficent. It was very yeah. It was friendly, but it wasn't didn't throw things at me, or at least that one didn't.
like a poltergeist kind of a thing or
Yes,
something.
yes.
Now,
Apparition, I guess you would say.
you want to tell us that story?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go.
So I was living in Corpus Christi. I was still in the military. I was married to my ex-wife, and it's time for bed. Put the kids to sleep, and I lay down. She fell asleep before I did, so I'm laying there about to fall asleep. And as I'm about to fall asleep, I hear a voice call my name. And I'm thinking, well, the first things first, it's her talking in her sleep, or those last waking moments or whatever. And I just hear Tony, as a whisper. It whispered my name. I'm like, what? And I hear, and so it's okay. Well, she's asleep. It's not whatever. So I'm like, okay, maybe because I was right on the verge of falling asleep. Right that moment, right before you start to dream. And
Yeah.
me, I'm the type of person, I lay down and I fall asleep almost right away. And then so I thought maybe this is a dream. So then I said, okay, fine. Wrote it off. I start to fall asleep again, and I hear Tony. They called my name. And I'm like, what? And nothing. And I'm like, okay. So I'm laying in bed, and I'm waiting. And so there's this the outside light that shines in through our window in the bedroom that we had. And just kind of paint the picture, as I'm laying in bed, facing the door on the right hand side, the entrance to the room, and on the left side we had a small half bath. And so all of a sudden I see a figure floating in to the room, not walking, just floating in, and then sideways it comes across the bed, and I could feel my toes getting cold. It was like, and I've always kept the house cold. I mean, I kept the house probably about 68 degrees, so it was already cold in the house. And so, no, it got cold, like a freezing wind when you open up the door. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god! So, and I froze. I was just laying there. I couldn't say anything, and it literally floated across the room in front of the bed to over by the window. And so the light was shining through it. So it's not like there was not a solid being there. It was not a person. Light was coming through
Cat
it,
or a
hitting
dog or
it.
something walking
There's
through there.
there's no shadow, so there's no
Yeah.
shadow, right? And so and it's just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm trying to talk, and I'm like, man, what? And I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? I finally was able to speak, and nothing. And then I'm like, what do you want? And nothing. I said, if you're not gonna, tell me what you need. I said, I'll help you if I can, but I need to know something. Say something. Show me something. Whatever. And nothing. And then it just kind of floated back across. And when it come back across and touched my toes, whatever, um, it it got cold again, and then it floated to the door, and then just out the door again, and disappeared in the hallway right there. That happened one other time, pretty much the same exact instance. There was no like ever any voice, any interaction. It was white for whatever. It was like a glowing, like a ghost. It was from what I could tell, it was a woman. She had blonde hair, and she had like almost like a white nightgown. And I could see the ripples in the fabric from there, and so there was actually definition to it. It wasn't just a mist or whatever. So
So I mean, did you think it was somebody maybe that you knew, related, or just a friend, or
it didn't
nothing?
feel like it. My thought was, I mean, Corpus Christi is right there. I mean, we're like really right by the coast. I thought, it's military housing, so who knows what had happened in the prior years there. If it was a lot of what I think is, and I have a couple different beliefs or thoughts or theories, I guess, as to what ghosts are.
All right.
Just use the term ghost for right now. It's like we all know when people die, then sometimes people get haunted by their mom, their dad, their grandma, their grandpa, things of that sort, or not necessarily haunted. They're there, they look over us, whatever. You can kind of feel them touching you, not uh, not physically, like in I guess what it is, like encouragement. They're there for you. That they're more than just a thought.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they
um,
actually pay a visit.
yes, and
That's what I think.
so I really think that it was a person. I felt that it was some sort of captured soul or the remnants of, and that's what that was. And the reason why I decided to visit me, I don't know. It wasn't. It doesn't seem familiar to me. It didn't seem like it was an aunt or uncle or any family member. May have been just something. And there could have been nights where it was there too, and I just was asleep.
So let me ask you this now: have you ever experienced with any of the tools for ghost hunting? Spirit
Well,
boxes, EMF detectors, or anything?
I haven't ever worked with any of those. No. I have kind of a feeling sometimes where out the side of my eye, you can see shapes. A lot of times they're called like a shadow figures. I don't know if you've done any research as to those. They're very similar to, I mean, it's paranormal, and they're thought to be also interdimensional, where it's like when you can see something out the corner of your eye, and then you look and it's not there. So, but you feel it, like when you have that. You ever had that feeling where you feel somebody watching you? Turn, you look, and there is somebody watching you. It's a lot like that.
Yeah, I believe it or not, I get that a lot. And I've had that experience in one house that we lived in years ago. The kids were just kids. I actually saw the apparition, and I saw it. And even though I know I worked a lot of hours back then, I think it was at the light company, if I remember right. And I used to work, 68 hours, 80 hours a week. And I remember, but I kept seeing it in the same spot. It was coming down the hallway of the house that I was in. And I would tell, the kids and my old lady, I'd say, like, man, there's something there, man. I keep catching it out the side of my eye, just like you said. But when I turn my head, it's gone. It's like the minute your eyeball touches it, it disappears. Like it knows, That's what it felt like.
Yes, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because there's actually a scientific theory that kind of explains that matter, when observed, will be in a certain state, but just the mere observation of it will change the state. Like, for example, if you had a atom that was positively charged, the minute you look at it, it now becomes negatively charged. So, and it's actually something that they've actually proven.
Well, this thing here, I saw it quite often, and then it would walk down the hall, and I can remember I was asleep on the couch one time, and the kids were asleep on the floor because we had been watching TV. It was one of them, maybe it was a Friday, Saturday night, and we stayed up watching TV. Right. And of course, they were all young then, where you can tolerate them, I guess, So, and I woke up or opened my eyes at one point, and I saw an old lady looking out the window, and I was like, "Oh hell no!" I was like, "No, not here." And I got up, and I looked, and it was gone, and I was like, but I saw the same outfit that I saw in the hallway, and I was like, I started putting two and two together, and I said, "Man, it's a lady. It's an old lady." And so it was another time that my son, and I didn't mean to start throwing in my little stories, but I never really give any, so this gives me a shot. So there was another time that my son, we were in there, and he was sleeping on the floor, they were. There's like three of them were on the floor. And he said that he woke up in the middle of the night, and he saw the same. He said that he saw it. And I said, well, what did you see? He said that he looked, and he saw it looked like an old lady wearing a white dress. And I was like, yeah, that was her. I was like, you really saw it? And he goes, yeah, Dad. And I rolled over, and I closed my eyes because I got scared. And he said, and I felt it walk across my chest. He said, I could actually feel it go through my chest. And I was like, oh, man. So right there, that was kind of telling me, yeah, there's something going on here. So I called the previous owner because I'd had their number. And you know what they told me that we didn't even know, that there was a fire in that house and an old lady died. So that kind of confirmed everything for us, But I first started seeing that lady out of the corner of my eye, and just I would throw it off because I'm one of those guys that I got too many things on my mind. I ain't got time to worry about that right now, And but yeah, it was kind of weird, So as far as poltergeist kind of a thing, I mean, I've never had anything thrown at me either, but I do know that I've been to several places and I've kind of got that thing on the side of on my side vision there, and I do believe, because of my personal too, but and then I mean, who's to say, who's to say who can tell me, that they died, went all the way through the steps and everything, did all that, and then came back and say, could you tell I was a ghost? And, I mean, no one did that, right. There's no proof of that. I will also mention that there was a time that I slipped into a coma and was dying during my cancer fight, and that was a really freaky experience. I experienced stuff that I'm not going to lie to you, I just never felt before, but it was so real. And then I hear the stories of other people, what they say when they're near death or right at death's door. And it's funny because the exact same thing happened to me, and I was like, unbelievable. I was like, man, I think I did die, because they believe that I fell into a deep coma and that I was lucky to come out of it. I don't think I was in a coma. I think I went just one step further because I can feel the out of body deal. I mean, I literally felt it, and I could. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you see yourself outside yourself, like
yeah,
back down on?
That's what I saw. And that's what made me hear, because I could hear everybody talking in the other room, because I was in my back room. I was bedridden. So and I was in a lot of pain from all the chemo and radiation I was going through. But there was something, I got to this point that I was like real tired, and then something was just saying, just go ahead and let it, rest, just sleep. You don't need to fight this no more. And it was actually telling me that, but not in a high voice, like yelling at me.
Right.
So I started doing it, and all of a sudden I didn't feel no pain. I was like, man, I don't feel nothing. Like it was gone, So that was kind of shocking, And I think that's what kind of told me there, But, during the thing, you don't realize nothing. I didn't realize nothing. I'm just like going with the flow, like, man, this feels so good. And it's like saying, see, you don't need to hurt no more. You're done. I mean, that's suffering. You're done suffering. That's it. Just stay here, lay down and stay asleep. But as I was doing that, that's when I saw the outer body, and I was like, hey, this ain't right. I ain't supposed to be right here. There's no way. There's no way I can see myself like that. So something was saying, telling me to continue on, and then I was actually thinking to myself, maybe I should, because it was very painful. The chemo was bad, and I was in a lot of pain, like I said, and I just didn't feel no pain. I was like finally at the point, and I was like, oh man, I love this, I can't believe it, I don't feel nothing. And then all of a sudden, I just said, something told me, I don't know, it could be my son who passed, it just said, no, go back. You can't do this. You can't do this right now. And it was just telling me, and then I kind of just farted and came back, kind of opened my eyes, and I didn't hear nobody. There was nobody there. But I kept hearing all this chatter, during this process. But it's kind of weird because nobody was in the house. It was just my wife was there. That was it. So I don't know if it's, I don't know if I was dreaming. I don't know if I was, actually coma. But they did verify, because I had to go to the hospital, that I did slip into a coma. That's what they said. So who knows? I don't know if that's what you feel in a coma. I don't know. So.
They say that people who have like near-death experiences open some sort of door or gate, or they become, not necessarily maybe that, but they do become more susceptible to paranormal things, to the spirit world, things of that sort. For some reason, I guess because you get so close to that point where it's I guess opening up like I said, open up that gate to
the
where
portal,
you're,
like a portal.
Yeah, sure. Like a lot of some religions call it the veil. Like for example, like a Halloween. The like you have like witches of the such and that kind of. I think it's kind of funny because people talk about all these paranormal, and then it really touches across science. It talks about life. It talks about creationism, religion, things of that sort. You have, people who are witches or pagan talking about things. Like, for example, like a Halloween, you say the veil is thinnest thin, and that's when spirits can cross back over easier than normally. And you have like religions and such where when you die, what happens when you die? Are these spirits? Are paranormal things from people who are ghosts, or were they angels? Were they demons? And if you get into the whole theology side of it, you have demons who were angels who are cast out. If you go by the Bible, you have other religions that talk about like the jinn, which are like genies and such. And there's been so much talk about that, and not just in I guess the Arabic community, but other communities as well, where they have other entities that come to people, granting them wishes and such, but there's something in return that they expect. So what is that? That's one of my things is that's on me, that I guess in a way I'm kind of in the search of to find out. I mean, I don't know if I will ever find out a 100% proof of anything, but why not search for it? Why not find out? I mean, I think it's interesting to know. Kind of guys going back on the whole spirit realm thing. So if you have a ghost, I guess we could talk about, is that ghost a person's spirit? Was this somebody that they were supposed to go to heaven, hell, purgatory? If you go by certain religions, when you die, you don't go to heaven immediately. You stand and wait for the whole coming of Christ, or the return.
Purgatory. That's
when
your
God calls
purgatory.
and stuff. So then
Yeah,
at
'cause
that point,
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
yeah. So are they? You know, I'm not going to get into the whole religious aspect. I'm just saying these are different
Right.
um, uh, thoughts as to what these things are. What to explain? Because it's once again, I'm going to say it's too commonplace. It happens so much. It's all usually the same kind of motions or things that happen. So you know, it's too real to be made up. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's something that you know in your mind that it's not fabricated in no way. So
Yes. It's not
I
like a
mean,
kid's story.
everybody has different beliefs in paranormal, and then you just have the ones that just don't want to have nothing to do with it, and they'll deny no matter what you say.
Yeah.
But those, I think, it's definitely something to really look into and not to neglect. And I don't know. I mean,
Well, my thought is until you can't prove it isn't something, then whatever is a possibility has to remain a possibility till you can absolutely rule it out.
right. Well, look at all these years, and the UFOs have not been debunked yet. So, I mean, how
Exactly.
many years have people been saying they seen them, and see them, but not yet have they been debunked? There, people have their theories, and scientists might say no or yes or whatever, and people just flat out say there's no way or whatever. But they actually have never totally been debunked. Some situations have, but they have never been totally debunked that I know of. I mean, so
Right.
I mean, you still hear them talk about it with the Pentagon and the White House and all that too. So that tells me it's not debunked. So it's still possible, definitely. What about any more paranormal? You have anything else happen?
Oh yeah. So one of my kids, when we bought him this little bed, and that's the other thing I was gonna kind of wanted to touch on is items that might be possessed. A lot of times, I wonder if people have attachments to things, or people in some cultures, they could put spells on things or curse something, and so they had this bed. And from the moment we got the bed, they liked the bed in the store. We went and bought the bed. The bed was returned. It had been bought and then returned to the store like shortly after. And so I've been in the military. It's like don't have much money, so you do what you can. My son wanted this little car bed, so we got the car bed. I put the car bed together, and I kid you not, it was probably maybe 5 times that there was uh, a restful sleep in that bed for the probably year that we owned it. Every night, I pretty much had to beg the child to go to sleep, sit there and sing to them. They talked about this is, mind you, this is in the same house where the first incident happened. The child was probably about 2 years old, my oldest son, and he talked about didn't want to sleep in the car bed, was scared. Um, we had an incident where one night he's crying, and we come in the room, and the toy box is shaking, it's moving. And it was like, what in the world? So I'm digging through that. I thought maybe one of his little toys, emotion toys, that was going off. So I literally dumped the whole toy box out and was looked for something. There's nothing in there. The only thing that we did find it was rumored that his grandmother was a witch, and she was very spiteful. She was one of those two-faced people because I'll love you up in your face, and then the minute you turn your back, she start talking about you. And it was not just hearsay; it was kind of like that. And so she gave him this toy. There was this wooden workbench that was not one you buy in a store. It was like somebody handmade this. The wrenches, the little nuts and bolts, the toolbox itself, you could take it apart. And so we tried everything. We tried, trying different things, such, prayed over the room, prayed over the house. And eventually I found all the pieces of that toy box and got rid of it. And it seemed like everything stopped after that. Just kind of strange. Whether it's coincidence or not, I don't know. But it was like, oh my God, it's just like it made too much sense for it not to be the reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can be honest. I kind of believe in haunted objects too. I really do. I mean, I'm not going to say I've never really had things like that. Really, not that I can verify that we had a doll one time, or something like that. But like some of the stories you hear in some of the shows that you see. But I do, for some reason, I believe that stuff happened to some of these people. Whether it be a doll or whatever, some items, because I think that they can carry a negativity with them. I really think that's possible.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't believe like the Chucky doll thing, but I don't think it goes in that way. I think it goes differently. So,
what about Annabelle though? Have you heard the story about Annabelle?
Not the full story, and I haven't seen it yet. And but no, I mean, I know that there is a story, but I never got to where I watched the movie or read the book or read up or Googled it or anything. Not yet. So,
right.
What is it about? Well, I mean, what's the real story, not the movie story?
Right. Well, actually, the movie was written because of the doll, and so I mean, I haven't done a lot of research on it, so I don't want to go into it and be wrong. But from what I understand is that the doll was pretty much possessed, and anybody who's ever owned it and actually played with the doll has had suffered ill consequences. So right now, the doll, from my understanding, is locked up in like a triple, like almost like bulletproof glass kind of thing, and not to be messed with. So
Weird.
that's kind of so. I just want to bring that up about like things that are maybe possessed. A secondhand story I had, and from a reputable source, I had a friend that him and his wife had went to a garage sale, was going around, just looking at odds and ends. You go to a garage sale, you see cool stuff. So there's this little box, like a, I don't know, like a little mini chest, like so to sit on top of your curio or something. And they're fine. They always got along. They always, good natured to each other, and they saw the little box. They liked the box. They brought it home, and so shortly thereafter they started fighting and bickering and whatever, and they're like at each other's throats, and they're like an older couple, and it's like and then all of a sudden they're like, wait, hold on, what's going on? What is the deal? What has changed? We're never like this, whatever, and what's whatever, and they're like, we bought that box, that's whatever. So they went, they got rid of the box, everything cleared up. So what it was about it, there's nothing in the box. They didn't know. It just came from those people, and they just got rid of it, and everything went away. Luckily, because sometimes from what I've heard, and when I say these things, it's what's the word? Speculative, because there's no proof of it. You can't physically see something. So an entity might attach itself to an object and then get into your house, and maybe it attaches itself to a different object to take its foothold, in your house. And these are things that just kind of heard people talk about speculating of.
Yeah, because I know that when I go to Denton, Texas to see my son out there, they got some, where they had a couple of them, but one of them burned down from what he had told us a few years back. But they have these antique shops, and man, them small towns, man, that's where you want to go find some antiques and old stuff like that. But the man there, he told me that he had said that, careful when you pick some of these objects, that some of them have been known to carry. I forgot how he mentioned it. Carry something. He didn't say carry spirits, but carry. I don't know. He said something other word, but that's what he meant basically. He said we have a lot of stuff here, but there have been stores, and I'll let you know if there's anything on anything you pick if I heard anything on it. And I was like, we didn't buy
that's
nothing.
good to know.
We didn't buy nothing. That's a hell of a sales pitch, right?
Right.
I think we went right out the door to the church next door. Nah, we just more like the bar. But yeah, we didn't buy anything there. My son has though. What are the chances of every single thing in that place being haunted or whatever? But he's bought a few things out there. Some good stuff, man. I'm not gonna lie. They have them small towns have some real good antiques, man, that you ain't gonna find in the city. And if you do find them in the city, you're gonna find them for triple the price.
Right.
But I don't know. When you get into the paranormal is kind of like so twisted in so many ways, because so many people have different theories on how to look at it. Some look at it this way, they look at it that way, and that's all there is. Some people look at it this other way, or another way, or whatever. They have different ways of looking at it. And I don't know. It's kind of like something it's tricky. It really is tricky, and it's actually complicated if you really think about it. Because
it is.
There's no way that you can actually. There's no way that one item can actually be paranormal in that way that they say, or that way that they say, or that way. It might just have its own thing. It could be haunted in some other way that no one's mentioning. At least that's how I feel, because I don't think it's totally been explained yet. Not everything. Not in that.
Definitely
so, not. I guess we'll we'll all see it later at a certain time. We'll all know then. It was fake, or it's real. It's real. I want to come back. So I mean, I don't know. But I mean, you think about it, and then you got the UFO factor, and then the cryptids, like you say, and I mean, I'm not sure. I have thought about buying a couple of tools, believe it or not, just to go and do some stuff on my own, just to for the heck of it, you know what I mean? I'm not
Yes.
planning on being an avid ghost hunter or nothing like that, because I'm not a ghost hunter, and that's not what I do. But I'm kind of like what you said. I get curious about that. What's on that side? What's in that topic? Let's say, if there was Bigfoot running around Texas somewhere, I would probably try to go and check it out. See if I can catch up with it. But I know that catching up with something like that nowadays is literally impossible, because you have so many people doing it and they haven't done it yet.
See, that's the thing, though. Have been Bigfoot sightings here in Texas.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying
Well,
like there's a lot of them you'll see the hazy picture, or the one that was caught in 10 frame per second kind of a deal instead of 30 or 60 or whatever.
Right.
And the visual is just not as great, but and God forbid that I don't want to see no one kill one for us to have the proof. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
I mean, I definitely don't want nothing like that to happen. I don't think that's how we all want to find this out. I mean, personally, I don't think so. I mean, because how else is somebody going to actually really prove it other than to catch one, cage it, or shoot one and mount it? You know what I mean? So
Right. Yes.
maybe it's one of them things that it's best that it's left the way it is right now. Just keep everybody guessing on it.
Or if
'Cause
they
once-
could, maybe they're not catchable. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, if this an interdimensional being, then you shoot at it, it could disappear, and it would just be like, where'd it go? I mean, I know I hit it. Especially these marksmen who are really good at shooting, and hey, I know I hit my target. I always hit my target. And there's these people that are like that, and so I mean, what would be the chance of them just not seeing it disappearing? It's cloaking. Maybe it has a force field around it. We don't know. Especially if
Yeah.
it's something that's. Because also you have the flip side about this, and kind of getting more into more conspiracy theory kind of things. What if this is a government project? What if this is some sort of collaboration? I think if we talk about aliens and such, there's a few people who have come forward, talked about having direct knowledge of alien aircraft being reverse engineered and incorporated into military aircraft and transportation. Even the Germans back in World War II had the Flying Bell, and that was supposed to be a time travel device, or a anti-gravitational device at the very least. It was not determined which one they were going towards, but all these different ideas of taking technology that was beyond the time at the time, and finding these aircraft or different transportation devices.
Yeah. I don't know. And then what about UFOs? Have you ever spotted anything that you kind of like believe there was a UFO?
Oh, I've definitely seen stuff in the sky. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't like like encounters of the third kind or fourth kind of stuff. It was more like you see something in the sky and all of a sudden it changes direction, and like there's no way that plane was going that fast and did a 90-degree turn. But I didn't have binoculars, didn't have any kind of camera to catch it. I couldn't get my phone up quick enough. But probably a couple of times I've seen something of that sort.
I think that at any given time, if you get to the right point, like, I don't mean in the middle of downtown and look up, because you ain't gonna catch nothing like that. But you get out, you know what I'm saying, because out in the middle of nowhere kind of a situation, I guess, and you look up long enough, or just like we used to do on our way to Mexico. I think it was we were younger. My dad would take us traveling to a bunch of different places, Arizona and all kind of places. And I can remember when we pulling over the side of the road for one of them roadside stops they had, or I don't know if they still have them or not, and we would he'd tell all of us to lay on the car and just look up, and see what we could see. Just I guess to give him a break to do what he's got to do, you know.
Right.
And man, you see so many stars. Number one, you know, because the city ain't near you, and then you see we saw stuff moving. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind. It could have been meteors, could have been who knows, you know. But we saw a lot of stuff up there. But I've only seen things move, you know, like across, you know, like slowly, which, you know, it wasn't a plane. There was no way. It was way up there with stars. So it could have been some kind of a meteor out of control or something like that. I don't know, comets maybe. Right. But I can't say that I ever saw something that zoomed back and stopped and zoomed back around. You know what I mean? I've never seen nothing like that. You know, I would love to. I'd be highly interested in seeing something like that, but I haven't. You know, so I don't know. I mean, it's kind of disappointing. Huh?
So I was gonna say. So, in your opinion, what do you think? Do you the probability of life from other planets? Yes or no?
All right, hey guys, Slap here. I just wanted to throw a couple of words at y'all. We had difficulties with this video. I don't know what happened toward the end. It just boom, you know, it was kind of like over for both of us. He was still rolling. I was totally gone. So I don't know what happened, how it happened. I checked all connections. Everything was good. We stopped it here and we decided to go ahead and try it again, which we did. And it did start, but there was no volume for neither one of us. So we just had to throw that one out. But that was Tony Taylor. I hope you enjoyed his video and his stories. He has some good stories to tell. I'm going to give him a lot of credit on that. And his knowledge is pretty good. He's pretty, you know, which is what he had told me. You know, he had a lot of knowledge into those fields. So, you know, I give him a lot of credit. He did real good. And then we had a problem with Facebook Live. It was live, but for some reason, it was checked off the private box, because when I finally did all this and it was all over with, and then I went in there and tried to look at the Facebook and rewatch that video, I saw that it had it was private or only seen by me, and it didn't say public. I don't know how it got to that. We were just having complications. I don't know. The last few recons, or well, not recons, but actually podcasts, we were having issues with them. So something is trying to hold us back. I don't know what. No one got the shirt. Sorry, that's just the way it goes. But hey, nobody caught the shirt. Nobody saw it. I guess nobody saw the people who responded that they saw it in the. I opened it up on the live this morning, so people were able to catch it. In other words, rewatch it or whatever. And no one caught the shirt. Everybody said that they had missed it. So sorry. I'm sorry. No one caught the gift card. So I guess that was another video on the shirt. I'm sorry. So I guess you know, gift card goes back in the drawer. I mean, what else? Now we're gonna give you. We're still gonna have the chance for that $25 gift card. What happens is I'm editing this thing now. Now it's gonna go to YouTube, and it'll be there probably about 5 o'clock. But it will be there. And as soon as it gets on there, remember, subscribers only, and you got to subscribe to you on our YouTube page. Let's go with Slap Recon on this one, since I'm shooting it on that platform. And then go ahead and just tell us the name of the card. I'll get your name, write it down. It'll go on the wheel, and we'll run the wheel later, or probably tomorrow. Give people enough time. And then all the names that are on the wheel, we'll spin the wheel one time. We're not going to do 2 or 3, just one shot, one kill. So whoever's name pops up, boom, you get that $25 gift card. So there's still a chance. Yay! All right, got to wrap it up here. This is the end of the video. Thanks again for watching this tryout number 3. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you thought. Tell us how you think Tony did. Tell us how you think the others did. You know, because this was number 3, but don't forget Marie Gatton. She was, you know, the first one, but it was on a phone kind of a thing, so it wasn't. She didn't get that fair of a chance. She may get another chance later. I'm not sure. We'll see if I can work one out. But hurricane season's here. We got a hurricane going to hit the coast tonight, I think it is, or tomorrow morning, or somewhere around in there. It should be our way Monday. But I don't think we're getting the eye or anything like that. But we are going to get the dirty side. So we're going to have a lot of rain and stuff here for the next few days. So thanks again for watching. Thanks again for supporting. And don't forget, shirts are still available. $25. Don't forget. get on YouTube or our Facebook page and just go to Slap Recon face page and just tell them in the message, just go up there, boom, boom, interested in the shirt. I'll give you exactly what information, how you need to get it, and make sure that we have your size. Thanks a lot again, guys, and we'll see you, and this one is out.